This is hands down the wildest and funniest Future Trunks story you've probably never heard of. I recently made a video talking about Dragon Ball SD, an official remake of Dragon Ball that made it quicker, funnier, and added a lot more Trunks. But how can a remake of Dragon Ball add more of a character who only appeared in one arc of the original manga? Well, at the end of every volume, Naho Oishi, the author, includes bonus comics. They're usually simple things, like a Valentine's Day special, a celebration of Psycho Jump, or a panel of Oishi's mom calling her out for having Goku naked for an entire chapter. But there is something of a recurring side comic, in the form of Future Trunks' time travel shenanigans. So let's go down this obscure and hilarious side of Dragon Ball.
Come on, y'all!
The first story happens at the end of Volume 2. Trunks just returned to his timeline after the events of the Cell arc, and now he has to get rid of the androids. But Future Bulma asks him, wouldn't it be better to just go back in time and defeat Gero before he creates the androids? So Trunks agrees to do exactly that. The Future Warrior uses the time machine to go back all the way to Kid Goku and Krillin's training. There, he finds the totally normal Dr. Gero casually chatting to a literal child. This is actually Android 18 as a kid. If you didn't know, before they were turned into androids, they were just normal people. 17 was named Lapis, and 18 Lazuli. Gero is asking her if she'd like to be turned into an android in exchange for a lollipop. So Trunks comes rushing in with a youthful hope punch, but stops just shy of hitting Gero when Goku and Krillin walk on by, as Gero unleashes Android number 9. Funny enough, this is one of the only times we've ever seen one of the quote-unquote failed number androids. So I guess this takes place after the Red Ribbon Army arc. Goku one-shots the android away, and Gero promises not to do bad things ever again. Krillin asks 18 if she's okay, and she kisses Krillin on the cheek, with the bald kid blushing like cooked octopus, while Trunks celebrates this strange victory and leaves back home. Still, Gero continues down his dark path, and we get a glimpse of Kid 17, who asks 18 if she likes octopuses, which explains a lot. In the next story, Trunks decides that it's time to return to the past and update everyone on the future android's defeat. But this time he will travel to a slightly different time, 7 years from the Cell games. Trunks' time machine appears at Orange Star High School, where Gohan is playing baseball with his classmates. Trunks hides behind a tree, surprised to see a grown-up Gohan, and reminiscing upon his old master. But Erasa shows up behind him, pushing him into the game. She doesn't recognize him, but knows that Trunks is just her type. Meanwhile, Gohan is worried about keeping his powers a secret, but loses track of his thoughts when he freaks out at seeing future Trunks. Trunks and Gohan stare at each other. No words, no explanation, just a pure warrior's connection. A technique only known as Z-Contact. According to a text box, Gohan asks Trunks to help him out, and he agrees that no one will find out about their powers. So Trunks throws the baseball with very little strength, but that's still enough to explode the entire side of the field. Gohan yells at Trunks, who apologizes. He trained a little too much in preparation for the Cell games, and now he doesn't know his own power. The coach, Freddie Mercury, runs up behind them and congratulates them on being so amazing, and that they'll for sure enter the Koshien baseball tournament, and change the title from Dragon Ball Z to DBZ, Dragon Baseball Z. The next volume has Trunks once again traveling in time, to the end of Z. Trunks is surprised to see how full of life this place is, running into himself. Well, present Trunks, who's complaining about having to participate in the tournament. Future Trunks sneaks up behind him and knocks him out in one punch, taking his clothes, a little embarrassed to wear a Capsule Corp branded shirt before the tournament starts, and while getting hit on by a guy, Trunks notices one of the participants insulting his father, calling him an old man who should die. So Trunks flies in with a kick, shaking him and yelling at him for talking to his father like that. When Goku notices him, Trunks tries to say that he's tired of these youngins disrespecting the elders, but in reality, Goku recognized him as Future Trunks. The Future Warrior says that he wanted to enter for fun and maybe win the grand prize. Goku laughs and whispers to Pan to punch Trunks and really show off that power creep. Pan lightly punches Trunks, sending him spinning out into the moon. Goku comments on how Trunks couldn't even defeat Perfect Cell at this point, and Vegeta says it's all due to lack of training. While Trunks suffers on the moon, he realizes that he's come to an alternate world where enemies just become stronger and stronger, while he's left behind. That's right, Trunks, this is End of Z. We clown in this mo. You better take your sensitive ass back to the future timeline. In this same volume, we get another Trunks story. This time we pick up just as Trunks returns to the past. After Vegeta defeated Android 19, Trunks saves his child self and mother from an attack, while Vegeta does nothing but angrily look for Jiro. Trunks tries to call him out for almost getting them both killed, but he feels something tap his shoulder, none other than Future Trunks. He tells himself to calm down. He shouldn't be so disappointed in his father already. In the near future, Vegeta will change and show just how much he really does love his son. With his change in personality, Vegeta will be the most loyal husband in all of Dragon Ball. In Battle of Gods, he even says "My Bulma," in a great scene that readers should definitely not miss out, as this came out right around the time of Battle of Gods. Vegeta denies it, but both Trunks and Bulma are convinced, with Bulma saying that she definitely made the right choice by breaking up with Yamcha. But this volume also got a special 5-page manga with a bonus Trunks adventure. This time, Trunks traveled in time to see the moment Bulma and Vegeta met. According to Bulma, they met on Namek, where Vegeta said, "Give me that Dragon Ball or I'll kill you, woman." But awkwardly, Trunks is still on Earth, definitely not Namek. While thinking about what to do, a pod suddenly crashes down behind Trunks. Kid Vegeta and Raditz have landed on Earth a lot earlier than expected. They're here looking for Kakarot, while Trunks hides in the bushes, realizing that he went way too far back in time. Vegeta says that he needs to find Kakarot and kill every single human. Since Planet Vegeta is gone, even the lowest class Saiyans are important. But all of a sudden, Kid Bulma appears with a blaster, saying that she heard everything the aliens said. A long time ago, she detected their ship coming to Earth, and has been preparing ever since. Raditz got scared at first, but she's just a little girl, telling Bulma to just accept the fate of her world. To which Bulma responds by shooting Raditz away after he pets her head. Vegeta looks terrified, and asks if all weapons on Earth are like that. Bulma replies that this one is special, she made it herself. Vegeta can't believe it. A 5-year-old with those capabilities? Maybe it's time to retreat. So the two Saiyans leave, realizing that they'll need a whole army to take down Earth. Kid Bulma saved the world, and Trunks knows that in the future, she will use her intellect to save it time and time again. Once again, Trunks experienced his mother's greatness. Then, in a different bonus manga, Trunks time travels to the Goku vs Vegeta fight on accident. He looks around for the Z fighters, but only finds a bright light in the sky. Trunks has no idea that this is an artificial moon. So as Vegeta transforms into an Ozaru and he tells Goku that his power increased 10 times, Goku interrupts him to ask him if he knows the guy behind him. Vegeta turns around in shock to find Trunks with his sword already drawn. Trunks has never seen a Great Ape before, so terrified, he asks Goku what this thing is, and he has a complete meltdown. Judging from his outfit, he must be the remnants of the Frieza Force. Did Frieza really keep such a giant pet? Vegeta actually starts to get offended when Trunks starts asking, "How big of a spaceship did you need to come all the way to Earth, you monkey? Also, think of the poor people who had to make Saiyan armor that size. Go back to your home planet, you monkey." So Vegeta sits on the floor, his feelings hurt by the blatant racism of this random kid. Goku tries to console him by telling him that the Ozaru actually suits him, but all Vegeta can do is mope about being bullied. And that's when Trunks realizes that the monkey is his dad. In Volume 5, Trunks time travels again, but this time into Resurrection F. He's confused as to why he returned to the Frieza fight. Frieza mocks Super Saiyan with Golden Frieza, while Goku reveals his new form, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan. So in response, Frieza calls his new form Super Golden Frieza God Frieza, and Goku retaliates by calling his Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Blue Galactic. Everyone watches the argument in confusion, while Trunks asks Jacko, "Hey, did I come back to a time when Frieza and Goku were children?" Jacko says that it may seem like a child's playground argument, but they're so strong that this is the least of their issues. Afterwards, the Galactic Patrol seizes Trunks' time machine for violating galactic law. In the next story, we find Trunks during his first appearance, right as Goku arrives on Earth from space. Goku has no idea who Trunks is, but then, how exactly did he know where he'd land? Trunks takes Goku aside and explains his story, how he's the son of Bulma, how the androids will attack in 3 years, and boom! Trunks from Dragon Ball Super pushes him to the side, saying that he too has come from the future asking for help, and that his future is much worse than the other Trunkses, so he should get priority. In fact, since he's from Dragon Ball Super, that means that Goku helping him will get him a lot stronger. It only makes sense. But Z-Trunks says that if he doesn't get help, then Super Trunks will disappear, and then 6 more future Trunkses appear out of nowhere, each needing help at a different point in time. One of them defeated the androids but can't fight Cell, one where Babidi and his Majins have appeared, one where Boo was reborn in the future, each one saying that their timeline is worse than the last. Goku can't help them all out, so he comes up with a brilliant idea. Why don't they just help each other out? All the Trunkses cheer and realize that this is exactly why Bulma trusted Goku so much. And so, in the future timeline, an entire army of Trunkses show up to defeat the androids once and for all, bringing the light of hope to the future. The next one has Trunks going back in time to give Goku the heart medicine, but he messes up again, this time ending up at the very end of the first arc of Dragon Ball. And Trunks can't take it anymore. He's messed up far too many times, and now the time machine only has enough fuel to go back home. But it doesn't matter, he's dead set on changing the future. So he turns to Kid Goku and tells him everything, that he's Bulma's kid and that Goku has to take this medicine when the symptoms appear. In around 18 years. Oolong and Puar say that, knowing Goku, he will likely lose the medicine before then, while Trunks realizes that those two look exactly the same in this timeline. Are they immortal? Yamcha then puts a hand on Trunks' shoulder, saying that he turned out to be just as handsome as his old man is. Trunks awkwardly avoids telling him that he's not his son when his mom walks in to ask what's taking so long, and falling in love with Trunks. She begs him to go out with her and marry her, while Trunks tries to push her away and tell her that she already has Vegeta in the future, while at the same time he starts to disappear. He tried to save the future from a hellish fate, but by going so far back, maybe he's really doomed us all. In the next story, Trunks ends up on a city, moments before the fight against the Saiyans begins, meaning that the city is completely destroyed. He goes to find a powerful key he senses, finding the crew and the Cybermen. Tien, Chaozu, and Trunks arrive to help. Krillin asks who the hell he is, and the future warrior starts to freak out, because he realizes that none of them know him yet. Yamcha also lands at the same time. In an attempt to save the future from changing, he points to Vegeta and says that he's just his family member. Nappa asks if this is true, since the prince even had a brother Nappa had no idea about. Vegeta denies it and sends out the Cybermen to attack Trunks. Since Trunks has never seen a Cyberman before, he just asks who they are. Why are they green? Are they Piccolo's friends? And then they explode. Sometime later, Goku arrives, finding Piccolo, Tien, and Chaozu dead, and then Trunks in Yamcha's death pose. Goku asks who he is, and they still have no idea. But hey, Yamcha survived this time. The narrator ends the story by saying that Trunks has decided to be more careful when inputting a year. Volume 8 brings us the Resurrection of F special. We open with Bulma yelling at Trunks for always ending up on the wrong time period. Trunks tries to make excuses, saying that it's the time machine, but Bulma is having none of it, reminding her son that he needs to arrive precisely as Frieza lands on Earth. Trunks leaves, but Bulma still has a bad feeling about this. Trunks finds the Z-Fighters discussing how Frieza is about to land, so he pops up from behind Piccolo and Krillin, asking them to give Goku the medicine and a letter explaining it all. But Krillin recognizes Trunks right away, and isn't amused by the joke. Trunks is confused. They shouldn't know who he is yet. He isn't even wearing his own name on his clothes like Dragon Ball characters usually do. Just then, Frieza's ship lands. Trunks gets ready to slice Frieza apart, telling Krillin and Yamcha to stay back. "I'm not Yamcha!" Trunks battles Frieza at his ship and gets blasted away. So the future warrior returns, saying that he couldn't beat Frieza, and tries to leave to the correct time, only for Piccolo to stop him and Krillin to yell out, "Hurry, Goku! We need your help!" Future Trunks had plenty of adventures by going to the wrong time periods, but by Volume 10, it was already time for him to be properly introduced. So when Mecha Frieza arrives on Earth in the SD manga proper, Trunks appears in his full glory. It's such a great moment that Trunks breaks down crying with happiness. It's been 10 years since he first appeared in the SD bonus comic. And finally, he made it to the main manga. Oishi even includes a bonus illustration behind the dust jacket, showing the 3 panels of Trunks going back in time, which she had been using time and time again, finally able to be retired after 10 years. Trunks would go through the story as normal, and with that, the time-traveling adventures of Trunks more or less come to an end, except for one final story as part of the 40th anniversary of Dragon Ball. Future Trunks has defeated the androids and Cell, so now it's time to return to the past and thank everyone. Or so Bulma would like to say, but Trunks' time travel mishaps have already caused way too much trouble, and they take a lot of energy. Thankfully, she was able to use parts of the defeated androids to make the time machine's energy infinite, so Trunks goes back in time to Capsule Corp during the celebrations of Cell's defeat. Krillin wonders if Trunks was able to defeat Cell in his timeline, and Gohan is sure that he could do it. And speak of the devil, just then, the time machine appears. The Z-Fighters rush over to welcome Trunks, only to find the machine completely completely full of people. Trunks explains that he once again messed up the time travel, but thanks to the infinite energy, he could just keep trying over and over. But through all these travels, different versions of Goku also wanted to come along. So Trunks brought everyone. It was a painful ride, mostly because of Goku's spiky hair, but he begins introducing them all. First, it's Goku before he even met Bulma. Then there's the 23rd World Tournament Goku, whom Chi-Chi runs to, but he doesn't recognize. Then Trunks brings out 3 different versions of Super Saiyan 1 Goku. That's right, no Super Saiyan 3 or 2, but 3 different versions of the first form. As Trunks says, it may be surprising, but they are all different depending on the era. Then there's God, Blue, and Ultra Instinct Goku. Vegeta is annoyed at all the colors used, while Piccolo is surprised that there's no Orange Goku. So it turned into a whole Goku Convention. Krillin and Gohan are surprised by so many Gokus wanting to come along. But of course, the answer is that all Gokus wanted to fight someone stronger than themselves. But DBS Broly Goku complains that now that they're all here, it's just the same guy everywhere. They all have basically the same techniques. So Trunks gets a genius idea, leaving with the time machine and returning with all the villains through time. Frieza is already planning on stealing the time machine technology. Cell and Boo want to absorb everyone and become the strongest. Whis and Beerus only care about the food, while the Red Ribbon Army just wants to go home. But this is exactly what all the Goku wanted, teaming up together for an all-out time-space battle. Yamcha is worried about Kid Goku fighting all these supervillains, but Vegeta says that Frieza is terrible with gag manga logic. If anything, this is their best chance to beat them all. The Gokus battle the villains. Super Saiyan Goku defeats Cell, Kid Goku uses rock, paper, scissors on Golden Frieza. All the while, Trunks thinks to himself that he really learned something throughout all his time travels. Why his mother admired Goku so much. No matter the era, transformation, or power, Goku shows hope to everyone, and Trunks himself hopes to be like that one day. And so, Trunks returns to his time. But he used the time machine's infinite energy a little too much and broke it. Now, none of their villains can return to their actual timeline. And for now, that's the end of Dragon Ball's funniest spin-off manga, or at least the bonus Trunks section of Dragon Ball SD. If you haven't checked out my video explaining Dragon Ball SD and showing you guys the funniest parts of it, be sure to check it out.